This Fortnitemares was certainly a divisive one, and in my opinion, it was much more well received than it wasn't, but let's get right into the video today without an intro, and let's talk about what Epic did right and what they did wrong with Fortnitemares 2020. Let's start with what they did right. The shadows, or the zombies, ghosts, ghouls, whatever you want to call them, they were fantastic. It's nothing like we've ever seen before in my opinion, but they put a wonderful twist on the gameplay with it. Growing up, I constantly played Living Dead and Flood and Halo, and I was picking up some really good nostalgic vibes from this mode because it was really similar to that, but in its own special and different way, if that kind of makes sense. It was a nice change in pace with being able to keep playing and essentially having a different life. The catch, of course, is that you joined a massive third team. It was a bit risky, but Epic tends to do that kind of stuff, and they nailed it this time. It was just so much fun being a zombie. You could do all these disordered dance moves, possess cars, eat loot, screech, and overwhelm people and try to get a nightmare royale. It was just a lot of fun being a zombie. My personal favorite part about this was that after you died, you were essentially given the ability to scum your teammates. The first thing that I always did was fly right back down to my team, help them win the fight that they were in, assuming they were in a fight, and then just sneak attack them because of course you could be invisible by standing still. It was a lot of fun because you weren't exactly being a jerk, but you were just playing the game, but at the same time you were messing around with your team. It was kind of like how impulse grenades were. Let's be honest, there was really no purpose to them besides like killing your teammates. The shadows were more of the same, but they were a lot more fun in my opinion. Your goal was to get your team back on your team, and that was just a genius move by Epic. I know the concept was kind of done before, but they put their own twist on it and it was perfect. The shadowy, distorted voices were fun to play around, and like it was just all around a good time to play as a shadow. Moving on though, the fog was fantastic. Epic nailed that this year. I know fog is a little bit of an iffy subject among this community, but honestly, it's Fortnitemares. Fog fits the theme. I'm not gonna lie, I never really figured out what caused the fog to get thicker, thinner, or if it was really random. If you think back to like 2018, as soon as you killed the cube spawner, the fog in that area went away. As far as I know, there wasn't really a system in place like that here in 2020, but man, did they make that fog thick at times. It was wonderful. It fit the Halloween theme wonderfully. Moving on though, again, next up is the loot pool. My charged shotgun was unfortunately vaulted, but you know what? I'm okay with that because it wasn't really a necessity in this game mode, and really in the game in general, it's a different kind of gun, but let's not talk about that. We saw the return of the Fiend Hunter crossbow, which is always a good time. Same thing with the pumpkin launcher. The drum gun came back, which I'll touch on that in a moment, and the broomstick and the candy were all fantastic additions to the game. Going back to Midas, for the first time, Epic continued the storyline with Fortnitemares, and I really love that. For players like me, it was really cool seeing Midas's chair come back as a little preview, and then all of a sudden we saw some crazy ritual was performed to bring Midas back. It was crazy to look at. It was really cool. So now we're left with the question on whether it's the same Midas, or if he's going to continue along with his plan, or what's going on with him. We don't really know. Don't forget, the whole theme of this event was Midas's revenge. Those are powerful words when you think of the lore. Who is he getting revenge on? The island? The controllers of this supposed simulation? He could be getting a revenge on Jules for taking over the agency, someone who was supposed to protect him, Tony Stark for changing the island, Chaos Agent for like any reason really. The possibilities are literally endless, and I'm really excited to see what comes next for Midas. He is one of the greatest characters to ever grace the Fortnite storyline. Now, unfortunately, this event wasn't perfect, although I was incredibly happy with it. Let's talk about a few things Epic didn't necessarily do wrong, but could have improved on in my opinion. And by the way, I didn't really say this in the intro, but if you haven't noticed already, of course, this is all my opinion. You're welcome to think totally differently. It's just like I'm kind of reviewing Fortnite here, but let's keep going. Anyways, what Epic did wrong? First, the fact that everyone had to play it. If I remember correctly, Epic always gave the option for players to either play Fortnitemares, like that game mode, or normal pubs. Arena was of course still there, which I'm happy about, but most people actually don't want to play Arena. I get why they made it so everyone had to play it. Probably because there's a lot of people who wouldn't have been open to trying it. Like, you know what? I get it. I have many friends who only want to play squads and are very reluctant to when it comes to trying out different game modes, especially one with a big change like Fortnitemares. And for me personally, it was really nice that Epic made it so my friends had to try the new game mode instead of just not wanting to try anything new, and luckily most of them enjoyed it. I just know that if squads was an option from the get-go, my friends wouldn't be playing Fortnitemares while I was left with one or two others who would play with me. And you know what? Yes, I understand that that's a bit selfish, but I think that's why they did it, for people like me, and to show that it was actually a fun game mode for those who wouldn't have wanted to try it, because let's be real, a lot of people didn't really like Fortnitemares that much, but they had like a much better time this year. At the end of the day though, I still think that normal pubs should have been enabled in the first place, and that every player should be allowed to play what they want to play. Moving on, the skins were unfortunately a bit lackluster in my opinion. This wasn't really too big of a deal though, so I won't spend much time on it. Just think of the skins they released last year. It could be argued that those are by far the best skins Epic has ever released. I almost bought all of them, and this year I was really excited to cop some more skins, but I really only bought the Good Doctor. I was I was just surprised that's all the skins they came out with. They were just a little bit lackluster. Lastly, there was a bit of a problem with the pacing of the game. I'm not sure if pacing was the right word for it, but the games took so long. If you were dead, you were waiting forever, and I get that you have a second life right off the bat, but if you lost that, especially if you were like in a fight, that's it. It's like the OG days where you had to wait forever. I see why Epic removed reboot bans, or disabled them is probably the better term to use, but I still wish that, like, after you died as a ghost, you dropped a card. I get that takes away from the point a little bit, but I think that would have been a little bit better, and you know what, that's just my opinion, so let me know what you think. I can see, like, a lot of people disagreeing with that one. If you really want to keep the thing and you can't bring back the reboot bans, you could come up with, like, an entire new system where you do some ritual at a witch location or something like that and bring teammates back, like they did with Midas at the ruins. But that's just a quick thought, and you know what, actually, it's not a bad idea. I actually just came up with that right off the top of my head. Either you could do like that or make the games go quicker, possibly even like maybe a little bit more like Blitz, where the storm just moves in constantly and it's just really fast. Lastly, I was really disappointed the zombie soccer skins weren't around this time. I loved the jump scares they had last year with the darkness and the fog. It seemed so well received last year that I was sure they would bring it back, possibly even with some more jump scares to boot, not even just the soccer skins. I just can't believe they bailed on that, and I was really excited to make Fortnitemares spookier because it's the first time they ever kind of did that. It was actually kind of scary last year, and you know what I mean by scary, like it was just quick jump scares, but that was so cool, and I was hoping that they would really bring that back this year, maybe next year. But honestly, guys, that's pretty much it. Of course, this is entirely my opinion, like I said, so I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you enjoyed from this year, and if you would change anything, what would you change? Let's talk in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here and you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button. It would help out the channel a ton. We've been growing a lot lately, so subscribe and join this wonderful community if you'd like to see more Fortnite and Smash Bros content. Thank you again, everybody. Don't forget to comment. Let's talk there, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.